It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
So my friends, I hope you mark your calendar for October 21st, this Sunday. It starts at 10 a.m. and it ends around 4 p.m. It's going to be a great day. What is it? It's the Better Living Showcase, Northeastern Pennsylvania's premier health and wellness fair. It is a major event, a lot of great things happening. If you saw the show, which is still running, that we did with the people from Time Shamrock, explained a lot of people who are going to be there. Well, today, I'm very happy to have a person I've known for many, many years. I don't know if he knew me for many, many years, but Joe Amato. And folks, everybody knows Joe Amato. I mean, not only here in Northeastern Pennsylvania, but all over the country. And Joe, it's so nice to see you on the show.
Glad to be here, Sam. Looking forward to the showcase Sunday, too. I think it's going to be pretty good for all the people that come.
I'm excited about it. I really am. And we're going to talk a little bit about that at the end of the show, what you're going to be doing. But, I told you I was in the piano and organ business with Johnny Morato. Johnny still has his music store. And we had a slogan called "Everybody Loves Morato and Lesante." So today it's going to be "Everybody Loves Amato and Lesante." Sorry, Johnny, but I just, so...
we bumped them out.
You bumped them out, yeah. So we're talking before, and your life is certainly going crazy in a good sense. But let's go back to Joe Amato. When you were a national drag racer, you're a racing legend, American drag racing legend. Let's go back to your dad, Joe and Helen. You were born and raised here, and a little bit about you, Joe.
Well, I was born and raised in Scranton, the South Side. And ever since I was little, I've always had an instinct to be involved in business. I mean, I used to have a paper route. I used to set bowling pins. I used to sell worms. I mean, so I used to cut grass, shovel snow. So I was always an entrepreneur. And I always had an instinct to work, and I've always had a lot of energy. And then when my dad had a huckster truck, I used to go on the huckster truck with him. My family had no money. We were poor. And we started, just working like every other good family. I have a brother, another brother, and a sister, so there's 4 of us. So it was a good family beginning, but the hard work got us going. And eventually my dad started, he had a delicatessen, and all the guys in the area were going out of town to get their bubble skirts and lake pipes and hot rod parts for their cars. So my dad, being a businessman as he never was a car guy. He drove a Hudson. I mean, not your fast car, but he went and bought an inventory and started a business in Moosic, Pennsylvania called A&A Auto Stores. And he opened a speed shop there with a small investment, and I was 11 years old. And I started working down there. I used to go down after school and hang out there. And the business started, and I learned the auto parts business and accessories and speed. Well, that grew into like I was 13, 14, and now we're selling go-karts, and I became the go-kart mechanic. I mean, I'm 14 years old, and I'm assembling go-karts to sell. And then me and my brother started racing the go-karts because there was a track down at the Gateway Shopping Center, which is a property I own today. They used to put hay bales there on Sunday and make a racetrack. So that was a fun way to start. And then hanging around the speed shop, some of the guys were going to the U.S. Nationals, which was a big drag race in Indianapolis. So I got to go with them when I was 14. I said, I want to do this. So I always had it in my mind I wanted to become a drag racer, but I knew I had to work hard to make the money. So when I was 16, my dad, who had heart issues all his life, that's one thing about I saw his health. I saw him go from, he smoked all the time. My mother smoked all the time. And I saw them go from being healthy, and then they would go on kicks and they would stop smoking for a while and they would get better and then go worse. But long story short, he had to have open heart surgery when I was 16. And we had a small speed shop business. We didn't do a lot of business. It was small. It was enough to make a living. But the 2 guys that were working there beside my dad and me quit to open a gas station. At the same time, my dad was going to get open heart surgery. So I quit school at 16. I opened the door. I did all the buying, selling, and ran the business. I mean, like, people used to think I was crazy. What 16-year-old kid does that today? But I did it. By the time I was 18 to get out of school, we had 2 stores. My dad had his surgery, came back. He couldn't work real hard, but he could be around to be advisor and everything. And So we started with 2 stores, and I started playing with cars the minute I was 16, local racing. I learned how to work on the cars. I used to run the speed shop in the day, and I had a garage at my father's house in Southside. At nighttime, I used to fix cars up there. I learned how to weld. I'd be in the alley with a car jacked up on the ramp, and I'd weld it on header pipes on it and stuff. I mean, so I did a lot of things because I loved what I did. And that grew into a bigger business, and the business got bigger and bigger as we went. Next thing we have 6 stores, 8 stores, and then we started a warehouse business, and I was racing, going a little faster, local racing. There was a track, Pocono Drag Lodge in the Poconos,
yes.
Local track. And we used to race at the 44th Airport going way back. I mean, you know, these are history. A lot of people are still around. There's a lot of nostalgia. We have people that you run into, and they're like Poconos. Up till last year, they were having a nostalgia event. It wasn't a race, but they would set it up and have a show there every summer. And so, you know, I've had a good background. I learned racing, and I got it going and built it into a great business.
How did you get involved in the drag racing? Okay, because that's where, you know, you start getting your fame. I mean, people knew you here, but, you know.
Well, I drag raced locally.
Yeah.
And then I realized that there was a bigger circuit out there. The NHRA had a tour, and there was like Division I. So I eventually worked myself into, you know, I had a car that would go 150 miles an hour in a quarter mile racing locally. I had a Fiat, a 48 Fiat.
Did you send us pictures of those?
There might be some pictures.
Yeah. While we're talking to you folks, we're going to show some of the cars that Joe you raced in, right? Because
Yeah.
they send me a slew of things. This way they could see some of those. So you started, and then you went on a circuit, right? With your
Yeah, I was racing around, like going to New Jersey, going to Indianapolis, racing, and still running the business at the same time.
Okay.
So I had 2 careers, basically, you know. But that was okay, because I'm a 4-track type of person. I have a lot of energy, and I wake up in the morning, whatever time it is, I'm ready to go, you know.
Now, my wife always wanted to be a race car driver. I mean, that was her dream, okay? And I said, when she heard I was interviewing, she says, tell him I wanted to always be in the race car. Now she's an RN, and she's a president of the company here, and she produces the show with my daughter, the girls. So I'm not into sports that much, okay? But what separates you? Like, how did you then become, you know, a racing legend?
A 5-time champion,
Yeah,
actually, basically.
yeah.
Well, racing is all about you have to be a good driver, but you have to have a good team and a good crew chief and be able to find the sponsors. And that goes for some guy running at a local track with a stock car. I mean, he's got to have a good mechanic to prepare the car so he can drive it right. It's like football. You need a team. You need the kicker got to be able to make the 3-point conversion to win the game. I mean, everybody's important, and that's when you have a team. When I first started drag racing, we were doing it locally on a smaller scale, but you know, I had a couple guys that were my crew guys, and that's the key. You have good team, they prepare the car.
All right, so a good team, but how does that relate to your car and the speed that you would have? I mean,
because they prepare the car for the track and the race.
Okay.
The tune-up, they put the tune-up in
right,
it.
okay.
And the cars, when you're racing drag racing cars, like when I got to race I started an alcohol dragster when I really got going. They would go like 220 miles an hour. Then I went into top fuel dragsters. But the cars had so much horsepower, you had to control how you set the car up to go down the track. So in other words, you have 8,000 horsepower.
Oh my God.
On the top fuel dragster. Now, these days they're up to 10,000 horsepower.
Wow.
So you're going to go.
Wow.
I mean, so the car would go from 0 to 60 feet in less than 1 second and be going 100 miles an hour. I mean, that's how fast they were. I mean, like you hit 1/1000, you're going 100, and it's 5.5 G. So you're strapped in the car, and like your head's on the headrest, and you hit it, and the front end jumps up like a rocket, and you go.
Yeah.
And so you're going 100. In one city block, you're going 250 miles an hour. I mean, so it's really fast.
And how long is it?
In the quarter mile we raced, and it went like 330 miles an hour in 4.5 seconds.
Well, Joe, here again, you have to have a skill. I mean, you just sit there. I mean, you could have a car that could go as fast as you can, but you had to have a skill.
Yeah.
So is this, the skill that you had, was this a matter of years of you training and drag racing, etc.?
You learn to it. You learn, you grow into it because you start, and you learn how to be a good drag racer. But it also comes down to you have to have good reflexes.
Yeah.
You have to be able to focus and concentrate and things like that. I mean, there's good drag races and there's great drag races, So like there's a little fine line that separates, just like football players or any other sport. It's a fine line between being a 5-time Hall of Fame guy and a guy who didn't make the Hall of Fame. You know what I mean? So like it all comes down to, but it still comes back to the people. Yeah. No different than any business or anything in life. You have to have good people. Yeah. You have to have a good family. You have to have a good wife. You have to have a good crew chief. But the crew chief was the key. And my crew chief was a local guy from Dunmore, Tim Richards, from local. And I hired crew guys locally if I could. And so we had a good team. And that's one thing about the Scranton and Wilkes-Barre, Hazelton area. The work ethic here is great.
Fantastic.
The people love to hire our people because they work hard and they work smart.
Now, again, please excuse the dumb questions I'm going to ask you.
No questions are dumb questions.
Yeah. How dangerous is this?
Well, it was pretty dangerous. In my driving career, I started racing professionally Top Fuel in 1982 and I retired in 2000. So that less than 20-year period, I probably had 10 friends that I raced with that got killed.
Oh my God.
And there was only maybe 50 people in the country racing a Top Fuel dragster and a Top Fuel funny car. So like say 25 in the two classes, and out of that, 10 died in the years. I mean, I played golf with Blaine Johnson at the U.S. Nationals, Indianapolis, biggest race of the year. On Thursday, we played golf. Friday night, he strapped it. We had one run to go, and he hit the wall, and the other wall on fire. He died the next day. I mean, so like that's hard to kids like 30 years old.
God, yeah.
I actually had a driver that drove my car. I retired in 2000, and Darrell Russell was driving. I hired him to drive my car, and he was doing a great job. It was the third year he was driving for me. Won some races and all. And a freak accident, a tire blew, piece of tire hit him in the head, and he died. So I mean, like it was dangerous. So I'm lucky to have gotten out alive. I mean, not many people. They say that I'm smart, but how many people want to strap themselves in a 2,000-pound car and go 330 miles an hour in a quarter mile in less than 4.5 seconds? But my elevator doesn't go all the way up. I've been trying to get it fixed for years.
I just say, thank God you did what you did. I don't want to say you're crazy, but you're crazy. When you think about that, but now, okay, there has to be some safety conditions that you have to. I mean, you're closed. I mean, are you prepared?
Well, you have a fire suit and you have a parachute.
Okay.
2 parachutes actually.
Now, do the parachutes go off by themselves?
No, you hit a lever to open or a button.
So you have to know when
to
they
activate the parachute.
Yeah.
They set it up now that if the motor blows up, the parachute goes open automatically.
Yeah.
Because people sometimes you blow the engine up, it makes a fire. You burn the parachute off. Now you're 290, 320 mile an hour on fire, oil all over the brakes, so the brakes aren't working. The parachute's burned off and you're going fast. And there's only a certain amount. And there's a sand pit that if you hit that, sometimes it'll slow you down, sometimes it don't. But so you
Now wait, you did go for mental evaluations though, didn't you?
Yeah, I did that.
Folks, I'm talking to Joe Amato, racing legend. I remember folks seeing 1 or 2 of his races that were broadcasted from, but he's going to be there Sunday. He'll be at the Mohegan Sun, the Better Living Showcase. It's going to be a fun day. A lot of things happening. We'll come back. We'll talk a little about that. But I want to go discuss more about Joe because I do think he has a mental problem of doing all this racing he has. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show. Folks, remember 24/7, you can watch all of our programs, ssptv.com, but most especially, download our app, SSPTV. Just search SSPTV, download the app. You'll see all the 20-some shows we produce, plus our news. And for those of you who do not have cable, you should have cable, but those of you who do not have cable, you could download YouTube search SSP TV, and there you go. You can watch all our shows. And I said in last one of my shows, I have friends in Arizona and people in Florida, people in Afghanistan who watch us on the app and also on YouTube. 24/7, we're there for you. Local neighborhood programming. Now, Sunday, we're talking about Better Living Showcase this Sunday, October 21st, at the Mohegan Sun Pocono Hotel and Convention Center. Time Shamrock is having this fabulous event. A lot of things. It's going to be talking about health and wellness, including wellness, diet, exercise, traveling, staying active, proactive ways of living better at our age. Also, this is perfectly open for everyone, not only seniors, but young people. You're going to learn a lot how to take care of seniors or whatever. And one of the main speakers, let me tell you who the speakers are. Dr. Lauren Hazori. I'll be there. I'm speaking at 12:30. Chris Kelly, and of course my guest here, Joe Amato, he's the keynote speaker. He'll be there. He starts at around 2 o'clock, and then John Madden, and then they have this great Real Diamond tribute, which is fantastic. A lot of doctors. Watch the show we did with the Time Shamrock people. Joe, before we talk about your interesting life and the many cars that you've driven. We talked about work ethics, all right, and how you start and substance of people. How important is that? I try to tell our viewers about, having substance in your life. How important is that to develop with it?
Well, I think you're kind of born or raised and trained like that. But I think in general, the people in northeastern Pennsylvania have a good work ethic. Because that's why a lot of the corporate people are coming here and putting offices and warehouses and everything, because they like what people do here. I mean, if someone from northeast Pennsylvania goes to Florida, they have an advantage because they definitely have a better work ethic than someone that was raised in Florida. Because down there, their lifestyle's different. They want to play more than they want to work. Up here, people want to work and they play too, but you work hard, you play hard. That's always been my motto. The harder you work, the more time and money you have to be able to play. But unless you're born, I call it the Lucky Sperm Club, where your family's born where you have a lot of money, you don't have to work. But
I never heard it that way.
You weren't there, I wasn't there.
No.
But that comes down to just someone's born into a rich family, and they don't have to really do much because they know they've got a lot of money. And those people don't work too hard, or they don't have much. And most of the time you see people like that get in trouble. They get involved in drugs and other things. Not everybody, but more than not, because they have too much too easy. Where you worked hard, you had a job when you were a kid, I had a job when I was a kid. We worked hard, and now we have that work ethic instilled into our kids, hopefully, and they'll carry it on.
Believe me, I thank God every day because my daughter and son are involved with the business, and you're absolutely right. Joe, when you talk about your career, okay, and some of the interesting things, I remember I said to you that I saw you a couple times racing, okay? Give me some stories, like what will you be doing now? You were talking about some of the things what's happening in the next few weeks. And Sam, if you do put some of the cars up that he drove, you're doing some exciting things in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, well, my life is very exciting. Besides, I retired and sold my business, Keystone Automotive Warehouse and A&A Auto Stores in '98, and I went a year or two and I was bored because I stopped racing in 2000. My driving myself, and I had a driver. I drove with Darrell Russell was driving my car in 2003. We had a freak accident. The tire blew and hit him. Piece of tire hit him in the head and it killed him. I'm a 32-year-old man. So I only drag raced as a team owner one more year, and I retired from that. So now I'm out here, no business, no racing team. I was bored, so I started doing commercial real estate. I bought the Gateway Shopping Center. It was all really trashed. I recycle that, and so I've been doing a lot of that, and so now I'm back in business. I've got a team of young girls that really take good care of me, treat me like a king as far as running our business, and I also travel a lot. My wife, Andrea, and I, we travel all over the world. We belong to a club called Exclusive Resorts, and we probably travel 100 days a year somewhere. I just came back I was in Italy, Amalfi Coast last week. I got to go this week to Las Vegas. I'm going to do a Legends tour for NHRA, where you go there and you sign autographs and you're on the PA system, on the TV show and the whole deal. And then I'm going to go from there in Vegas still to SEMA show, which is the biggest automotive show where they have all the accessories, which I used to go to all the time. I'm actually I was on the SEMA board at one time. I'm a Hall of Fame SEMA guy because I was in that business. You know, besides I've been in 5 Hall of Fames drag racing all over the country. So I've got credentials where people recognize that I did something a little special.
So this Sunday, you know, I was honored that they called and asked me to be one of the speakers, but you know, you being the key speaker, this Sunday at the Mohegan Sun, Joe will be there. He's starting at 2 o'clock. I'll be there starting at 12:30 is when I'll be on. But Joe, what are some of the things that you'll be talking about on Sunday?
Well, I'm going to talk about my life, basically, a couple racing stories, talk about how I got to be 74 years old and still healthy, you know, after bouncing off walls at 300 miles an hour on fire, parachutes, and, you know, a crazy lifestyle. But I'm still here and I'm basically healthy. Yeah. I've got a few replacement parts. I have a couple hips and things like that, but we still keep going. And so I'm going to, you know, tell some stories about people, give some recommendations of what I think people should do, how they should deal with their life. And I'm going to have a question and answer after I talk. And then I have some beautiful posters I'm going to sign for people for free. So if I think, you get food, door prizes, free parking,
I know.
and get to talk to you. So I mean, life is pretty good in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre on Sunday afternoon, and the weather's not so great, so you might as well come indoors. Yeah. It's at the Mohegan Sun. It's in the hotel, in the ballroom of the hotel. It's not in the casino itself. Yeah. So. It's going to be a great day, great day.
And I'll tell you, it's going to be very educational, folks. It's you can consult with area doctors, expert on health, and just the fact that you have some great speakers. But the doctors, Zemansky, Tracy, Schmaltz, Jordan, Matucci, I don't want to miss. I mean, there's a whole mess of great doctors will be there. We're going to take a break. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. I want to see you this Sunday at the Mohegan Sun, Pocono. They're having the casino Better Living Showcase. It's the only health and wellness event where you can talk to the foremost experts on knee, back, shoulder pain, arthritis. Learn about the most advanced robot-assisted surgeries. Get a massage. Enjoy amazing food. Get a flu shot, and also listen to my good friend here, a racing legend, speaking about his journey through life and his retirement. I'm talking about Joe Amato. Joe, very quickly, some of the key things you'd like to tell our viewers, some of the people that maybe cannot make this the Sunday event. Well,
I hope everybody can make it Sunday because it's worthwhile and it's free, and you know there's a lot of things to do and see. But if not, all I can tell is, you know, I get up every day. I have a zest for life, and as far as my health issues go, I get anything checked. I'm constantly being aggressive as far as checking things versus a lot of people say, I don't want to know. Well, you can't fix it if you don't know, and next thing you know, you die. So be aggressive about your health and have a zest for life and live it. It's not a dress rehearsal.
Yes, isn't it? You sound like my wife, you know, go and get checked. I go, you know, I'm the biggest baby, though. I go to the doctor, my blood pressure is shooting through me. I get my eyes examined. But however, you got to do those things.
You got to do those things.
The PSAs, the whole things. Joe, I'm really looking forward to hearing you on Sunday, and it's been so nice to see you. I remember a while back I may have met you, but when Johnny and I had the piano and organ stores, but you certainly are a good tribute to our area, and what you're doing I think is great, and I wish you continued health and success.
Well, thank you, and good luck with your show. You're doing a good job, and I'm glad to see we're still here giving back.
That's right. Folks, Joe Amato, he'll be there along with Dr. Lauren Hazuri. I'll be there, Chris Kelly, John Madden, and enjoy yourself. The Real Diamond Tribute is there. They're fantastic. So reservations, make them, call them now, 570-348-9150. And if you want to know more about Joe, go to joeamatoproperties.com. That's joeamatoproperties.com, and you can learn a lot more about my buddy here, Joe. We'll see you next time.